This podcast is brought to you by Adlib Speaking Organization, CSA Certified, a world-class podcast. Doo-doo-doo. Here today, we are joined by Richmond and Athan Orduna to start this series off with its first episode entitled The Mask of Social Media Hiding Behind Your Own Self-Worth.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Athan.
Good morning, and to all our viewers out there.
We are here today to discuss and convey insightful ideas on how social media or texting can theoretically block us from expressing our inner selves. It hides us from our true emotions and true identity. But before kicking this off, let me ask you, Athan, a rather simple question. How do you feel today?
Today, for me, especially knowing that we're about to end this very long school year, honestly, I'm very excited both for the break and for this podcast.
Yeah, me too. I'm also very relieved that the school year is about to end. And yeah, I'm also very excited to delve into this podcast as a Kickstarter for our wonderful break. Anyways, to start this off, I would like to go back to that question. How do you feel? Don't you think that others even lie when answering that question?
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, and not really saying what they really feel deep inside.
Oh, wait, actually, I think I can get you, but because of times, I think I can see that people tend to say that they're okay, but in reality, they're really in deep pain inside.
Yeah, and you remember that meme, like they ask you who you are and just say that you're fine, that you're not really fine. That's from Katy Perry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this tells us that even some people, or if not most people, always try to think of ways to hide their true feelings and cold secrets deep inside. To, not really be judged by others.
Yeah, I agree. And most of the time, you don't really express everything you feel because, it's personal, right?
Yeah, true. And especially when we have a really big problem such as accomplishing our task or studying a lot for the test last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in cases when things are face-to-face, if someone does that to you, like hiding their true emotions, are you able to feel even without them saying that they are lying?
Actually, yeah, because of the so-called nonverbal communication, right?
Yeah.
And actually, in my perspective, this becomes obvious to some, but if one is really good at communication, he or she may still be able to hide it by using generic words such as, I'm okay, or I'm doing well, right?
Yeah, and those are the strategies to hide emotions face-to-face. But how about, let's say, in virtual or online? Diba, we are able to have more control over what we say because most of these conversations just happen in text, right?
Yeah.
So when we ask, how do you feel in chat, what do you usually respond?
Okay naman.
Yeah, diba? That's like the only thing that we mostly say because they don't know what's on the other side of the screen because you're not really seen as you don't really have the camera in front of you, right? And even if you're crying there, if you don't put a crying emoji beside your text, they will not really know that you're crying, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So why do we really do that?
For me, I think we do that because we don't really want to show our emotions, especially our negative ones to others.
Yeah, true. Kasi we don't really want to trauma dump in a sense that we will be seen as duwag or weak. That we cannot just keep these to ourselves, right?
Yeah, and especially to our families and our parents because we would not want them to feel like we're having a hard time because we would not want to add on their stress on works.
Yeah, because they are already stressed na like, dadagdag pa ba tayo?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but do you also think that we even do this to even our friends, our classmates, or anyone around us?
Actually, yes, for me. I feel that we are more tempted to do this in chat than in face-to-face.
Oh, why?
It's just because we become more conscious of every word we type, especially knowing that it may have different meanings every time a text message is read.
Yeah, and since it can be read differently from others' point of view, if not really thought out, it may cause misunderstandings or and can have a different tone that may be seen as either negative or positive. And actually, in my experience, if you can see me in, let's say, the group chat, right, I always post the reminders, announcements, and questions as if I don't have any problems, right? And you too, you also do that, right?
Yeah, and if I do those things, there's one thing that I never forget.
Oh, what's that?
It is to put a smiley face every time I send messages.
Oh yeah, you do always do that.
Yeah.
Wait, may I ask why do you do that?
Well, it's simple. It's just for me to sound like how I speak face to face because I feel more at ease when conversating with face to face.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm able to judge how am I going to speak to persons by observing how they look, how they feel, and how should I really approach them.
Oh yeah, and you know that like it's easier for us to judge whether a person is approachable or not when face to face because when it comes to online chatting, you don't really know what they are doing. If they're angry, they're sad, they're lonely, or if you text them at a wrong time, like let's say when they're at the bathroom or in the cinema. And you also don't even know if they are the specific person you are really talking to, right?
Yeah, and I see that sometimes happens that everything may go in the wrong timing. And yeah, if you are unsure if that is really the person you're texting to, you become conscious with chatting, even when, let's say, me to you or to my other friends, because we don't really know who's holding the phone.
Yeah, and from this, we can see that no matter what we do, we can really have a different personality when it comes to chatting or social media rather than in face to face because we become picky of the words we say, right?
Yeah, and actually, it also depends on who we're talking to. Because let's say we're talking to a teacher. We have a different speaking style or writing style because we aim to be formal.
Yeah, true. And actually, our use of emojis also depends on who we're talking to. And using your example of the teachers, right, we mostly disregard the use of emojis and just limit ourselves to basic smiley faces, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and if we talk to, let's say, a new student, we also use formal emojis because we don't really know the real attitude, unlike in face to face, right?
Yeah.
So might as well let's just stay on the safe side and be neutral.
True, and let's say we're talking to a shy person. Of course, we will not talk in formal emojis, but instead we will use calm emojis.
Yeah.
Same when we talk to a funny comedic guy, wherein we will use laughing emojis instead.
Yeah, and from all these insights, we can therefore conclude that we don't really have a fixed personality when it comes to chatting or texting in social media. And it may differ from who you're talking to and how you deliver the message, and where and when you deliver that message. So, from all of this, how do you think we respond in public social media on the other hand?
Well, in that perspective, it will be slightly different because now everyone can see your message.
Yeah.
Wait, may I ask you, do you message, post, or comment in social media?
Well, for me, I'm not really that active in social media.
Oh, same. Actually, I just comment when responding to messages directed to me.
Oh yeah, and like during our birthdays, right?
Yeah.
But even if we're not really active on social media, we can see that most people in the internet, especially in the comment sections, have usually the same responses all over and over again. Do you know why?
Oh, why?
Because some people just go with the flow of society and just want to fit in with the society in social media.
Yeah, and sometimes some people still create fake accounts just to hide themselves, their name, their faces, and everything associated with it. Even if they agree or disagree with something that is not accepted by, let's say, their families.
Yeah, and this is where we see the mask being applied in social media. But the ultimate question is, who really wears the mask when it's in the digital world? Is it only those who have fake accounts?
Well, actually, reflecting back on the things we said a while ago, we all wear this mask whether we like it or not because we see society as judgmental, that we
Yeah.
become conscious of all the things that we say.
True, true. And from this perspective, we are mostly tempted to apply this mask and hide our true personality to even the people we know that will not judge us.
Yeah.
And that's why, to all the viewers out there, if you apply this mask in social media or in text, you don't have to be ashamed of it, but as it is an inevitable human nature. But always remember that if you're just being you, being authentic, being honest with what you show, no one has the right to judge you for that. Sad to say that we would have to end this discussion right now, but we hope that our brief talk for today has made you have all the insights you need on how we hide ourselves from the world through our devices. And from then on, from the Adlib speaking organization, this is Richmond Anna,
And this is Athan Orduna.
hoping for your arrival for our next episode on this world-class podcast. Thank you so much for watching and wishing you a delightful summer break. Bye guys, and
Thank
thank you and
you.
have
Have
a
a
great
great
day
day ahead.